They said my garden was against community standards. I said, fine. Let's see what your standards really are. By the time I was done, half the HOA board had resigned, and the rest? They couldn't show their faces in the neighborhood barbecue again. I moved into Willow Creek Estates for peace and quiet. A cozy house, a nice yard, and space to grow the vegetable garden my late wife loved. She always said, a home isn't complete until something grows in it. So I kept her words alive. Tomatoes, herbs, roses, even a small koi pond. But peace doesn't last long in a neighborhood run by an HOA, with too much time on its hands. A few weeks after I expanded the garden, I got a letter. Your front yard contains unauthorized vegetation and non-approved structures. Unauthorized vegetation. That's how they described my wife's roses. I tried to reason with them. I showed them my landscaping plans, the irrigation permit, everything. But the board president, Linda, a woman who loved rules more than reason, smirked and said, we can't make exceptions. We must keep the neighborhood uniform. Uniform. Every house on the block had the same plastic turf, the same beige mailbox, the same lifeless bushes. Mine was the only one with color, and that made me the enemy. A week later, I got another notice, $150 fine. Then another. Every time I refused to pay, they added penalties. Soon they claimed I owed $200. I was furious, but instead of yelling, I started digging. Not in the garden, in their records. Turns out HOA boards have to keep public meeting minutes and financial statements, so I requested copies legally. What I found was interesting. They'd been using HOA funds to pay for community beautification projects, like the $5,000 they spent redoing Linda's backyard fence, labeled as shared property improvement, and the $2,300 landscaping consultation fee, that went to her brother's company. They were running a little family business with everyone's fees. I gathered every document, every invoice, every check. Then I did something they didn't expect. I ran for a seat on the board. At first, nobody cared, but I went door to door, talking to every frustrated homeowner who had ever gotten a bogus fine. People started whispering, maybe we need change. When the election came, turnout was record-breaking. And guess what? Linda lost by a landslide. Once I joined the board, I called for an independent audit. The results exposed years of misuse. The state got involved. Linda and her brother were fined thousands and banned from any HOA. Position for life. The following spring, I proposed a new rule. Any homeowner who maintains a garden or green space, contributing to community, beauty shall receive a reduction in HOA fees. It passed unanimously. Now the neighborhood that once hated color was blooming with it. Tulips, daisies, fruit trees, all because one man refused to bow to HOA nonsense. I still visit my wife's garden every morning. It's bigger now, brighter. Sometimes I catch my new neighbors out there, asking for gardening tips, and every time I see them plant something new, I smile. Because that's the real revenge. Not the fines, not the exposure, but turning their gray little world into something alive again. They tried to bury me in rules, but instead I made them grow.